Among many of the culture wars happening here in Canada, there's a lot of political wars, specifically the fight between jurisdictions, federal or provincial. Now, the federal government does have quite a bit of jurisdiction over different provinces, especially when it comes to emergency preparedness and things like that. But I don't exactly know the logistics of every single detail and policy that they can oversee and supersede the provincial powers. But obviously there's a massive attack here, and with specifically Danielle Smith from Alberta, who's been reelected the premier of Alberta. She really feels like Justin Trudeau is stepping on her grounds, and as a very proud Albertan, she's saying, get the hell out of here. Or in other words, get on, boy. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're taking a look at Danielle Smith just completely obliterate Justin Trudeau to his face. And then afterwards, at a stampede, she has more comments to say about the matter. Before we get into it, I want to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps grow the channel. We're on route to 400,000 subscribers. Almost 1% of Canada's population will be subscribed to this channel, which is, I mean, that's insane, guys. Get on, boys. Get on there and subscribe, why don't you? All right, without further ado, let's take a look at this interview.
Well, thank you all for being here today. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for taking some time to chat with me before, I'm sure, a very busy Stampede schedule. I hope you enjoy it.
We're all busy at Stampede.
No kidding. But of course, we do have some serious things that we need to discuss. I had sent a letter to the Prime Minister saying that we'd like to bring our emissions reduction and energy development plan with a target of carbon neutrality by 2050 in alignment with some of the objectives of the federal government. And that will require us to have some conversations about 3 areas that I don't think we have agreement on yet, but I hope to. We would like to establish a working group so that we could talk about how we might be able to achieve a net zero power grid, but I've indicated to the Prime Minister that that is not possible by 2035, which is the federal target. We've been told that by our experts here. We also know that an emissions cap or emissions reduction, such as the one that's been proposed, of 42% by 2030 would also result in essentially a production cap, which we don't think is realistic or feasible as well. And we know that the government had negotiated Article 6 into the Paris Climate Accord, which should allow for us to get a credit here for reducing emissions abroad. And we would like to be able to work with our partner in British Columbia and the government in order to be able to reduce emissions and get credit here through LNG export. And of course, I've also given him a letter to take away on our request that Parliament be recalled so that we can put an end to the port strike in BC, which is causing extreme hardship to our producers and our exporters here. Prime Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Premier Smith. It's great to see you again. Great to be here at Stampede, a great opportunity to celebrate this extraordinarily vibrant city and the best of Western pride and heritage and culture. It's really a great moment to be here, where the country descends on Calgary, and it's been a lot of fun already. I want to start by, of course, recognizing there's still thousands of people who've been evacuated from their homes across Alberta. The Premier and I have been working on responding over the past weeks and months to this wildfire situation, and we'll continue to be there as necessary, as first responders and firefighters from around the world are helping out here in communities. I'm glad to be sitting down to speak with the Premier about how we create great jobs and grow the Alberta economy, because that's of tremendous benefit, not just to people here in Alberta, not just to the country's economy as well, although it is significantly, but also in generating solutions for the world. Alberta has long been an extraordinarily innovative leader in providing energy to the continent and indeed the world, and the kinds of innovations, whether it's around hydrogen, whether it's around chemicals, whether it's around a range of things, solar, renewables, all sorts of really, really exciting things going on here in Alberta that we're extremely supportive of and looking forward to working together. You've highlighted one of the great achievements that we're looking towards, which is this working group, where we will be able to sit down and really look at what our experts are saying, what your experts are saying, figure out the common ground, figure out the path forward that's going to make sure we're responding to the energy needs of a growing economy around the world, while at the same time making sure we get to that net zero by 2050 that we all agree on. There's lots of things to work through, but I can say there's been a really positive and constructive working relationship.
Net zero, by 2050.
From the very beginning, so we're looking forward to keeping up on that. And of course, we'll be talking briefly about the BC strike as well. I know how impactful it is on producers across the prairies, including here in Alberta. It will be, we believe fundamentally that the best deals are always found at the bargaining table, and we will keep putting a lot of pressure on all parties to find that solution that I know is out there. But I also know that pressure is mounting day by day, and people are really, really worried what could look like next week, and we are as well. So I'm really pleased to be here today, looking forward to this conversation. Je suis très content d'être ici avec la Première ministre pour parler d'économie, parler de croissance, parler d'emploi, parler d'environnement.
So that wasn't too fiery, but the video I'm about to show you next, Danielle Smith holds absolutely nothing back.
I'm so delighted to be going to the Council of the Federation this week, because I can tell you the thing that has surprised me the most is it doesn't matter what political stripe the premiers have, every single one of them is frustrated with federal interference into their business. I would like to,
I'm going to pause that because it's not just the premiers that are fed up with Justin Trudeau and the federal government putting their nose in their business. It's also the people, which is why you're seeing a rise in protests that are anti like Trudeau, like F Trudeau protests. You see the Muslim community, you see Christians coming together saying, leave our kids alone, leave our kids alone. The federal government has imposed themselves on the education system here in Canada, where they are trying to rip away parental rights from the parents and give those rights to the state, to the teachers. And that's why you're seeing so many people be vocal about their hatred towards Justin Trudeau. Is the government never really had this much power over the people, and they want even more. And so you've got people like Premier Danielle Smith standing up against that and protecting Albertans, which is phenomenal.
the federal government to focus on their areas of jurisdiction and do it well. How about we see them address the issue of out-of-control monetary policy so that we don't have an inflation crisis any longer? How about they meet their commitments internationally on defense spending so that we can continue to be part a full partner in the NATO alliance? How about they manage our passport offices and our airports and our port system? And how about they support Indigenous health so that we're dealing with the opioid crisis? They've got lots on their plate in their areas of jurisdiction. They should stop trying to interfere in ours, and they should start doing their job, is my view. And I think all the other premiers feel the same. So I've pushed back. I've seen Saskatchewan push back, and I think you'll see increasingly the other provinces will push back as well. Well, I'll tell you what I noticed when the Prime Minister did his communique is he didn't push any of those three issues, and which says to me that they are open-minded, and they have heard the message loud and clear. That an emissions cap that is aggressive is a production cap, and it's a violation of the Constitution. The same for net zero electricity regs that are too aggressive. Electricity is also in our constitutional jurisdiction. So here's my view, is that if we are able to demonstrate in good faith that we are working towards those targets in a meaningful way, I think the courts will side with us. I hope it doesn't go to the courts, but if it does, then I think we're going to win that one. I do always try to find areas of common ground. I must tell you that the other Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau, he just wanted to steal our wealth. He didn't want to extinguish it. And so that's the reason why I can understand why people lack trust. The way that this current Prime Minister has acted towards our province over the last number of years has not been constructive. And so I wanted to demonstrate by meeting him partway, saying we'll align with a 2050 target, but he's got to meet us partway as well and do it in a way that's reasonable and that works for our economy. And that's why we've formed the working group. As I said, we're going to work in good faith to try to get there, and if we don't, then we're just not going to do anything that is going to damage our economy or give any indication that our oil and natural gas sector is going to be phased out. We're working on reducing emissions, not reducing jobs in the energy sector. So I think this would play out. We will assert that we are going to meet our targets under our emissions reduction and energy development plan, and they can take us to court if they want. But I think that what will happen is we will demonstrate to the court that what we're doing is reasonable, it's in alignment with federal policy, it's in our areas of constitutional jurisdiction, and I don't think they'll have a leg to stand on, quite frankly. And that's the reason why we're taking the initiative. We're not going to allow them to tell us how we're going to manage our economy and how we're going to manage our energy. more.
And that's a massive ongoing issue that doesn't just limit itself to dealing with the federal government to the premiers, but it seems to be happening in all areas, like the education system, as I said, even the Bank of Canada, like they just say yes sir to Justin Trudeau, and they're actually part of the problem with inflation. And this is why people love Alberta, why they're gravitating to Alberta by the thousands, by the hundreds of thousands, because you have somebody like this who's very well spoken, like Premier Danielle Smith, who's advocating for Albertans' rights. It's not just a crazy right-wing conspiracy theory of, you know, having freedoms and being, you know, a little bit more independent and relying less on the state. It's a real thing, and you have millions of people that agree with that, and they're advocating for that, and you have awesome leaders that come out of the you know, out of the works and actually fight this system and fight Justin Trudeau face to face and try to give the people what they want. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think that Justin Trudeau is, you know, he's going to stay away from Alberta the best he can? I think that he is going to shy away from Alberta as much as possible. Juice box, water bottle thingy, Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.